Tell me how you got acquainted with the Johnny Van Zant Band.
Back at the time, the music scene in Jacksonville was a very close-knit community. We all knew each other. It wasn't uncommon to go in a dive bar down at the beach and see members of Leonard Skinner or Marshall Tucker or any of the famous bands around here jamming up on stage. One of those girls was a good friend, and she was singing backup with 38. She called to tell me that Ronnie and Donnie Van Zant's younger brother, Johnny, was looking to hire backup singers. She gave me his number and said that he was expecting my call. So I gave him a ring and told him a little bit about myself. I sang a song a cappella for Johnny, and then I sang another one with him, accompanied on guitar by Robbie Gay, and I was hired on the spot.
One of your duties, from what I understand from what Keith was saying, was that you actually had to provide all of the day-to-day information for the soaps? Tell me about that.
It was my daily duty to show up Monday through Friday, meet all these guys, this motley crew, center stage, and tell them everything that happened on General Hospital that day. And they absolutely hung on every single word. It was hysterical.
And let me jump in on that, Joan, because Peter Magdars, who was our drum roadie at the time, okay, in our one of the drum cases, there was a television that we would always take from show to show to show. And at 3 o'clock in the afternoon, everything stopped. And it was Luke and Laura on General Hospital.
When you hear these stories, people got to be thinking, this can't be happening. I mean, you can't make this kind of stuff up, but this is a day-to-day operation. Tell me what it was like, your perspective of being a female singer in basically a good old boys network.
Well, you know, there was no privacy on the tour bus or backstage whatsoever. We shared a dressing room, shared a very small bus. And one thing's for sure, if you're going to travel in tight quarters with a small group of people day after day, you better find a way to keep your head on straight and to get along. And Keith will tell you that there was really an unwritten rule on the road, and that was mind your own business and keep your opinions to yourself.
Well, I tell you what, Joan, when we were out on the road, we were given, at least I was given marching orders by Dwayne to make sure nothing happened to you within the Molly Hatchet organization. So, it was like hands off, to the band and crew. Don't let anybody mess with her. She's a friend of mine. Don't mess with her. So, we got our direction from Dwayne, and it just was something we had to do. So.
Luckily, I got along really well with the JVZ band and all the other bands that we traveled with. But life on the road could be hard. It was glamorous at times, but you also missed a lot of things like family events and weddings, and it can get a little monotonous.
But it's glamorous, Joan. It's so glamorous out there on the road. And in fact, another one of our glamorous days was when the Michael Schenker group was out and open for Molly Hatchet. There just so happens a day that those red spandex showed back up. Why don't you tell us about it, Joan?
There were a lot of pranks going on backstage. One night, as Molly Hatchet played, backup singers suddenly appeared on stage. They were members of the road crew from Michael Schenker. They had black t-shirts that said Molly's Dollies. They also wore pink fluffy tutus and black tights and blonde wigs. So, of course, Molly Hatchet had to respond. And when Michael Schenker was playing, Keith appears on stage in my red spandex pants and pretends to be singing. And then Dwayne appeared dressed up as Michael Schenker with a blonde wig, black leather jacket, and guitar. So things like this happened all the time, but I think most notably between Molly Hatchet and Michael Schenker.
Joan, it's been a great conversation today. I've got mountains of paperwork about what you have done since you were a backup singer for Johnny Van Zant. And one of them, you were with the Alliance for the Lost Boys of Sudan. And I want to thank you so much for you spending time with us today here on The Gatekeeper. So with that being said, from Studio 1S in Derby, New York, stand by for the next episode of The Gatekeeper.